And welcome back inside the Xfinity Roller Sports Arena. The Comcast Race of Champions underway. Up next, it's our 1,000 meter ladies qualifying heats. Do apologize out there to those watching. We've had some severe electrical storms coming through the area here in Colorado Springs, and unfortunately we're negatively affected there briefly, but a great job by our truck engineers getting us back on the air without you missing any of the action.
Well, one thing that you guys did miss is they ended up disqualifying Justin Stelly in that 3-lap race, so he will not be in the final.
And with Stelly out, that puts Jonathan Blair into the final. So too much. You said it got grabby out there, and a little bit too much for the officials.
And they said impeding is what they call it in speed skating.
That certainly is the proper terminology as we go now to our middle distance 10-lap race. So the participants in heat number 1 here: Jasmine Foster, Kaylee Repke, Jalen Godin, Andy Wincoop, Kenna Pfeiffer, Anissa Beatty, and the spot for Elizabeth Martinko would be in there, but again, do not see her down there on the line. So Martinko looks to be a full scratch here this evening.
It's too bad. She had potential too. She was racing hard.
She was racing very well all week. Hopefully it's not some sort of medical issue that is keeping her out. But in this one, you gotta like Jasmine Foster again, don't you, Josh?
The 10-lap, as I think, she's great at the sprints. The 3-lap she dominated, but 10-lap, I think this is her specialty. She's a middle distance. She's gonna try to jump out, control this entire race.
And a pretty good start for Foster, but not the best, as she currently finds herself running behind Jalen Godin. And Godin, we all remember from her heat, giving Kelsey Hellman all she wanted in the sprint. Jalen Godin is here to get herself a check.
And she's keeping that pace. It's a slower pace now. Foster's going to take the lead, and I bet you she ends up starting to push this thing a little bit.
So Foster indeed out in front. Andy Wincoop working her way up into second position. Godin dropping back to third. Remember, in the 10-lap race, as Godin regains second position, it's the heat winner who gets an automatic bid, and after that, you got to hope your time is fast enough. The next top 6 get to move on.
And that makes it tough because you could have your time affected by somebody who's leading the pack at a slower pace. It could affect you if the other heat is running at a faster pace.
It certainly can. In the age groups, we've seen entire heats get through on time because of a fast leader, while other heats are left out because the pace just wasn't quick enough. Now our 6 starting to melt into 4 as it's Foster, Godin, Wincoop, and Repke up front. Kenna Pfeiffer and Anissa Beatty falling by the wayside. And now with 2 laps to go, here is Foster and Godin starting to make a move. Just like you said, Josh, Jasmine Foster pushing the pace as they near the bell. One lap left to go.
Godin has a chance here. She's going to try to make a move. I can feel it. Last turn.
And at the last turn, Godin, no move forthcoming. Can be content with a second place finish behind Foster. We'll see what the final times are. As you see, Foster gets the automatic qualification with the win. Godin in with a 1:44. Repke and Wincoop coming in at 1:45 each. So those 3 times probably in good shape. Pfeiffer and Beatty back at 1:49 and 1:52 respectively, probably going to be on the outside looking in. As we now take a look at heat number 2. Kelsey Hellman, Sierra Golden, Gabriela Cardona Castro, Kayla Duke, Ashley Hacker, Michaela Rinnick, Shannon Degenhart, and Brooke Cianciola. And once again, it does look like Degenhart has also scratched the entire race of champions. Brooke Cianciola out there as the last qualifier. She has to start on that second line. And so another heat where we have 3 Team USA members, Josh.
All up to the start. Who wants to lead the pack? Who wants to push it? Who else wants to keep up? Hellman loves getting out to a quick start. She does it every time.
She does indeed. We'll see if she can do it again. You have to think Duke and Rinnick going to want to be right there. And Gabriela Cardona Castro showing us something there in the sprint heat as well. And here we go. And once again, it is Hellman first to the turn. And Hellman tailed by Castro. So there's Castro. Now an outside big move from Ashley Hacker. So Hacker making herself known in the early going here. Sierra Golden now running third. Cardona Castro right there with Hellman, but Hellman got that big early start you mentioned, Josh, as we move into the middle portions of the race.
And there's a little move by Castro. She's going to take the lead for a little bit.
And a very brief lead it was, but Castro was in front there for a moment in front of Hellman. Hellman not interested in running second for very long, as now Rinnick has moved into, she was in third, then Sierra Golden taking that position back, and now here's Golden working her way into the inside, squeezing in between Castro and Hellman. Halfway point now, Hellman still in front. The rest of them racing for it. There's the big move by Rinnick. So Rinnick going from 5th to 3rd there as the 4th to last lap comes to an end. Hellman, Cardona Castro, Rinnick, and Golden. The winner is in. The next 6 best times will also advance. Hellman not wanting to leave anything to chance. 2 laps to go. Hellman now starting to really amp it up.
See if Castro can keep it up. She's got to keep it close still. 1 lap to go.
There is the bell. Hellman showing everyone why she is one of the fastest women in the world. Kelsey Hellman leaving them all behind. She's up easy to the end. Castro with the stretch to hold off Golden. And Rinnick, as we take a look at the final times in that one, Hellman is in safely with the win. Cardona Castro's 1:47 is going to be good to get to the final, as are Golden and Rinnick. And here, Josh, exactly what you mentioned. Jazzy Foster led a much faster pace in heat number 2, and all of those times are slower than the ones from heat number 1.
Makes it tough. That's the luck of the draw.
And Cianciola ending up retiring out of that one. So that is going to do it for our women's qualifying heats. We're going to take a brief break while the gentlemen of the Comcast Race of Champions get the wheels turning and the legs burning. See you soon for the 1,000 meter men's qualifier.
Okay.
And welcome back in, everyone, as we have our last two qualifying heats coming at you next. It's our men's 1,000 meter qualifiers. Heat number one, down there at the line, Aiden Saylor, Jonathan Blair, Aaron Geddes, Skylar Alton, Sonny Wright, Eddie Wilcox, and Trey Jones. Josh, the 1,000 not the same as the 300, but we've seen what kind of a mindset some of these guys are in. Aiden Saylor doing well. Where do you think Jonathan Blair is here after that physical confrontation he had in his heat for the 300 and then getting advanced on the DQ?
You know, and I like the competitive spirit that Blair's got. He definitely wants to make a comeback here. You know, you lose points when things like that happen. People fall, and you have little mishaps. That's part of this world of speed skating. But I'm going to go with Blair on this one. Even though Aiden Saylor has faster lap times, looking at about a 10.5 average split, I feel like Jonathan Blair is looking for some points here. And if he can get out to an early lead like we always talk about, he's going to push that pack at a pretty high pace.
So some official word coming in, Sierra Golden catching a warning there in her 10,000 meter qualifying heat. No reason to expect that would go beyond that. Just a warning at this point for Golden. She will still compete in that 10,000 meter final. And we are now ready to go here, heat one of the men. And off they go.
Geddes out to the lead right away. It's good to see.
As we see the contestants come back through the start-finish line. And there we have the whole pack, so still pretty tightly put together. Out in front, it's Alton, so Skylar Alton. And now Aaron Geddes. Racing continuing here. Geddes, and now it is Jonathan Blair sliding into second as we hit the halfway point.
I feel like Aiden Saylor is about to make himself a move here. He's trying to time some things up.
Saylor currently running third, and there is the move as Aiden Saylor now running second behind Jonathan Blair. The winner gets in, everyone else has to get through on time, so does Saylor really want to leave that up to chance? I don't think he does.
Alton needs to push back up and get in that top four. It looks like he's tailing off a little bit, so we're down to three.
We are down to three in the front. Jonathan Blair, Aiden Saylor, Aaron Geddes, Alton. After the fast start, tailing off here at the end as Jonathan Blair turns for the bell. Aiden Saylor right there with him. Aaron Geddes keeping that pace as well. Geddes in third position. It is going to be Blair and Saylor at the line. It looks like Jonathan Blair held on for the win. As we take a look at those times, you see Saylor there taking a look at the times himself. So Jonathan Blair, we know, is in. Aiden Saylor putting up a time of just a 1/10 of a second back of Saylor, Saylor just a 1/10 of a second back from Blair. So Saylor in at 1:36, as is Geddes. Behind them, a drop off to Wilcox in at 1:38, along with Alton. And we'll see if those times are able to hold up as you see some of our contestants heading off the racing floor for a brief rest before they are called upon again.
Chris, it looks like this is going to be a crowded one. 8 participants in this one.
I agree, Josh. Very crowded. You got 2 men towing the back line there, so that always an indicator of a packed field. And this one, not only crowded, but looking pretty fast. Colton Miller, Zach Stoppelmore, Michael Ruiz, currently maybe the story of the Race of Champions here tonight, as Ruiz coming out of nowhere, grabbing that qualifying spot in the sprint. Mason Liebhaber, we saw him a little bit maybe shell-shocked in that first start, but hopefully he's got his feet under him now. A longer race for him. He's a late mover. We'll see what Liebhaber can do. Then, of course, Trey Tinsley, Nick Hoffman, and the other Team USA member, Stelly.
Let's see if David Meyer can make some noise on this one.
And
Colton Miller's going to push it.
a clean start. Indeed it is. Colton Miller out front. Miller tailed by Stoppelmore. And running third, it is Ruiz. He was in third, now running fourth as Justin Stelly right there. And Michael Ruiz going toe-to-toe with the world team member.
Yep. They're competing out there.
Once again, Colton Miller holding on to the lead. Stoppelmore right there, and those 2 leaders being stalked by Justin Stelly. Coming towards the halfway point. It is a race of 3. At the current pace, would expect to see all 3 of those guys get in. Not sure about anyone else unless they can mount a late charge. David Meyer running 4th, but he is well out of the screen. You see, we still haven't seen him. There's Meyer up at the top as we rejoin our 3 leaders, Miller, Stoppelmore, and Stelly.
They're cruising. That's a fast pace that those guys have kept the entire time.
All 3 of them have turned in sub 9-second laps, and 2 laps to go now. Stelly not looking too anxious back there. Maybe he's feeling comfortable with the time as we hit the bell. Down the back stretch for the final time now. Here comes the move. Anyone?
No.
No. So Colton Miller with the automatic qualifying win in heat number 2. As we turn our attention up to the final time board. And you see there is Colton Miller coming in at 134. Stoppelmeier and Stelly right behind there with 134 and change as well. Those 2 times are going to be good. And those are the only 3 getting in out of heat number 2 as Jonathan Blair pushed Aiden Saylor, Aaron Geddes, Skylar Alton, and Eddie Wilcox to times faster than David Myers. So 4 from heat number 1 and 5 from heat number 1 and 3 from heat number 2. And that brings us to our first official intermission here at the Race of Champions. So Josh, what do you make of the racing you've seen so far?
Colton Miller just really impressed me big time. He had led that race the entire time, stayed cool, calm, and collected, and it looks like he's playing for keeps, man. I don't know. I'm impressed with the way he just skated that. He set that pace so fast that only those other top 2 skaters, Stoppelmore and Stelly, obviously a couple of the best in the country. And, wow, Colton Miller actually he dominated that entire race. That was impressive.
He did, led almost wire to wire. So Colton Miller on the men's side, making himself known up against those Team USA gentlemen. And on the women's side, I think Gabriela Cardona Castro maybe filling that role for us.
I think she is one that really is competing. You know, you got Hellman, you got Foster. Obviously, they're the top 2. They were the top 2 last year. But Castro's, she tries to make moves. She's an aggressive skater. She doesn't really like to sit back and just kind of join the pace line. She tries to make passes. She even tries to make passes on the outside. So she's an aggressive skater. I like the way that she's coming out here and competing this evening.
She certainly does skate aggressive, and you mentioned passing on the outside. Such a high-risk, high-reward maneuver. You're skating much farther than the other competitors when you do something like that. What happens to you if you don't get it done?
And then somebody else can sneak in and pass you on the inside because you're too far away from the inside of the track.
So
referees are having another long discussion about something.
They certainly are, and you see there as well some of our competitors just hanging out, trying to stay loose. Of course, on the other side of this break is going to be that long 50-lap elimination race. So much fun to watch and see the competition at the back of the pack. So rare that the back of the pack is where the attention needs to be focused in those 50-lap elimination races. It is quite a sight to see.
It is, and that's where the referees, I mean, they got to pay attention to every single skater, what's going on and where they're at.
They certainly do. We thought we were going to have some entertainment here in between races, but not sure what's going on with that. So we're going to step aside, and if our act appears, we'll bring it back and make sure you get a chance to see Devin Simas. The intermission entertainment has indeed arrived. You see there that man, Devin Simas, gonna entertain a sold-out crowd here at the Xfinity Roller Sports Arena. Josh, what can we expect from a renowned skater like Simas?
He got an artistic figure skating background, but he's pretty awesome at this little, some people call it cruise skating, some people call it jam skating, some break skating, whatever it is. This guy's got some moves, though. But yeah, he's a multiple national champion as far as artistic figure skating goes. Got to work the track a little bit.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Devin Simas, national champion figure skater, rubbing some funk on the festivities here at the Comcast Race of Champions. Our racers are going to need still a bit more time to prepare for the elimination race, and we'll be bringing that back to you on the other side. Back inside. We are ready to award our first medals of the Race of Champions. Preliminaries are behind us. It is time for finals. Finals. Points. Cash money on the line. Starting.
Cash money.
There you see it. 5-0. That's the number of laps in our elimination race for the ladies. The whole field participating in this one. So we're looking at 13 skaters on the floor. It's going to be Jasmine Foster, Kelsey Hellman, Sierra Golden, Kaylee Repke, Jalen Godin, Gabriela Cardona Castro, Kayla Duke, Andy Wincoop, Kenna Pfeiffer, Ashley Hacker, Michaela Rennick, Anissa Beatty, and Brooke Cianciola. Actually, now I do not see Anissa Beatty out there, so she may be calling this one and not participating. So 12 skaters. The way this thing works is you want to eliminate skaters at a consistent rate until you're down to 5. Only 5 skaters are going to skate the full 50, those final 5 in a sprint to the finish over the last 3 laps. The strategy in this, Josh, boy, it's complex.
It is. It's one of those things where you want to keep up with the leaders in the field, because if you don't, then they pull away too far, and then you just have no shot at it. So you want to keep it tight, nice tight pace, and stay in the thing the whole time. And you know, some of these girls might push the pack a little bit in the very beginning. Some of them might want to slow things up in the very beginning. I'm sure they have different strategies. It could come down to, you know, I know Hellman loves these distance races. I know Foster loves these distance races, but I'm impressed by Godin. I wonder if she's a distance kind of a person. We really haven't had a 50-lap race. She does well in the 10-lap, 15-lap.
She does.
50 laps is such a long ways, and it's such a long distance that
it's a full 5K.
I mean,
they're skating a 5K.
If she keeps up, she can make some noise in this thing.
And that would be great for Jalen Godin. The other thing to mention, you said you want to keep up with the leaders. Not only can you get wrong-footed by the bell, but if you get lapped early on, you're out. So definitely falling off the pace is the end, one way or another. So 12 women will enter, only 5 will finish. Along the way, we will have to just wait and see what happens.
And we have the referee. He has a helmet on. He's going to get the one started by just setting the pace, and then once he gets out of the way, off they go.
That is correct. That rolling NASCAR that rolling NASCAR start. As we continue to wait for the final go-ahead, looks like we had David Meyer out there on the track for some reason. Not sure what he was doing. Sneaking in a couple extra warm-up laps.
Maybe. Or he wants to get a close view.
Tell you what, speaking of close view, the crew here at the arena, they've been flying a drone around, getting some great footage.
They have.
I expect that to be available possibly at usrollerspeedskating.com here in the coming days. Definitely something that you're going to want to check out.
And the speed skaters thought it was cool. You know, there's a drone flying around behind them while they're racing around out there. It didn't distract them or nothing like that. You always got to throw some new stuff in these events, you know, make them unique year after year. And having a drone out there has been something that they've never really seen indoors before.
Absolutely, and neither has this capacity crowd. You see the stands are full, the snack bar is full.
The bar is full, around the glass, standing room only.
Absolutely, as you see there is the bar here. Quite a setup they have in Colorado Springs with this Xfinity Roller Sports Arena, custom built for inline speed skating and roller hockey. And continuing to finalize responsibilities for the officials there. It's a complicated race, not just for the skaters. A lot going on for those in charge of keeping things fair as well.
Oh yeah. And it looks like Godin and Hellman got themselves a front row seat. Foster's running about 3 back.
Boy, Kelsey Hellman drawing the top spot in the rolling start. That's trouble.
That's trouble.
And you see our PA announcer, Steve Early. He's looking around with a bit of a confused look on his face, now waving for us here. There he is. Oh, yeah.
Why does he always have to wave at us?
Give him the moves, Mr. Early. How about that guy? Doing a great job keeping the crowd in it.
He should have been a stand-up comedian is what he should have done. But him and Mr. Rogers over there bring a very unique energy between them.
So we saw these kind of minor delays. As you take a look at the different kind of wheels. Oh, I like those. Not sure whose skates those were, but those were very cool. There's Godin and Hellman skates there at the front. And there's a thumbs up as the referee now out on his skates. And here we go. 50 lap women's elimination race will get started as soon as that official ducks out of the way. There's the buzzer. And the race has officially begun. Godin out in front. Hellman behind her. Tucked in behind Hellman is Kenna Pfeiffer, then Jazzy Foster. Foster tailed by Duke, as we see already off the back goes Brooke Cianciola. You see her there into the frame is Cianciola. So rough start for her, not unexpected, as she was one of the last to qualify for our race of champions. The rest of the field, though, staying tight and compact, as you mentioned, Josh.
And I feel like it's a pretty decent pace that they're setting here in the very beginning. I didn't know what to expect if somebody was really going to push a little bit faster. But you can see up there on the board, looking at about 12 seconds per lap.
So 12-second laps here in the early going. It's Godin, Hellman, Foster now up in third. Andy Wincoop up there, and as the field overtakes Cianciolo, she is our first victim eliminated here in this race. So she is done, and that puts Ashley Hacker. You see Hacker there hanging off the end of the field. Hacker in there with Anissa Beatty. So Beatty did end up joining the roster. Good for Anissa Beatty, although now she is on the bubble back there with Hacker. Beatty trying to move out of harm's way, held off by Michaela Rinnick. So Hacker, Beatty, and Rinnick.
You know, it's one of those
on
things
the hot
too.
Seat.
You can get caught in the back at the wrong place at the wrong time. So you gotta push the middle. Absolutely,
there is some, logic and math that goes into how they blow the eliminations, but there is a bit of randomness as well. So if you get stuck back there, like Michaela Rinnick, that's a Team USA member. She's running just ahead of the elimination point right now, and after this elimination, she would be next on the hot seat. As you see her there, not liking that state of affairs and moving way up.
She heard you,
to the front. So the opposite of the broadcaster's jinx here, as Rinnick taking some sage advice from your friendly play-by-play guy.
To jump up to the front.
She does. She wants to go all the way.
Godin picking the pace up. They're starting to push now.
Now it's getting crowded back there. Hacker now well off the pace. Safe to assume she will be next to go.
The last 2 laps were in the 10s.
So Ashley Hacker, her fate now pretty sealed as we return to the main field as soon as we have a chance.
She looks like she's hurting.
So again, there is Hacker. And Kelsey Hellman getting a warning as we leave Hacker to her fate and try to head back to the main field. There they are. Godin now in front with Foster behind her. Hellman without warning. Josh, did you expect to hear something like that on Kelsey Hellman?
I didn't see anything, but I wasn't particularly watching her. I was watching the back of the pack.
And that is the whistle that ends the race for Ashley Hacker. Godin continuing to set the pace as she has all along. Laps right in that 11-second range. A few laps have gone under 11. Not many have been over 12. As we take a look at the scoreboard and the current pace. And there it is, Godin, Foster, Hellman, Wincoop, Repke, Pfeiffer, all skating right in there. You see the time starting to go down as some of those best times were 11 seconds prior to us checking out the board. We return to the field. Anissa Beatty now on the hot seat. Kayla Duke back there just in front of Beatty. So Kayla Duke in a spot we didn't necessarily expect to see her in this early in the race.
No, we didn't.
As we near the halfway point, Godin,
she's led the whole time.
Foster, Wincoop, then Hacker in the top four. Now here goes Rinnick. So Michaela Rinnick now in the top 5. It's 25 laps to go. There is Anissa Beatty off the back and not even attempting to keep up with the field. So Anissa Beatty, she is done. Either it'll be the next elimination point, or if she keeps dropping time like this, she may end up being eliminated by the field, as Godin continuing to set a fast pace. Foster, Wincoop, Hellman. Now there is Rinnick. Rinnick up into second position, and Michaela Rinnick is kicking things off for us in lap 23. Michaela Rinnick.
Here comes Hellman.
That gets a response from Hellman. Hellman now in front.
They let Hellman get to the front. She's going to be in control.
Kelsey Hellman in front, jostling there. Godin not happy as Rinnick takes the lead from Hellman. Now a pack of 6 getting separation. You see back there Sierra Golden and Kenna Pfeiffer falling out of the frame. There they are. And of course, Anissa Beatty has been dropped.
Repke and Foster are battling out back there for that last, there's 6 of them there battling.
So those 6 battling for the 5 spots, as Kayla Duke has completely fallen apart. She's now about to be lapped by the field. So Kayla Duke, she's going to be done as Foster now moves to the front.
She did that very quickly.
We take a look here at Golden and Pfeiffer. Neither of them look like they have what is going to be necessary to get back into this one. So 6 women, those 6 right there, battling for 5 spots to finish and earn points. So a critical race in the Race of Champions, brought to you by Comcast. Money on the line for these 6. And Repke jostling around as we take another look at the board. 14 laps to go. And you see Hellman.
There's Godin making another
fast,
move at it.
and Foster, Godin, Wincoop all putting in very fast laps. As we get back to the action, Michaela Rinnick again bursting away. Michaela Rinnick in danger of elimination early in the race now with 13 laps to go. She is giving Kelsey Hellman all she wants. And they have broken free of the rest of the field. Michaela Rinnick and Kelsey Hellman. Behind them, Foster and Wincoop, Andy Wincoop.
Wincoop's keeping up.
Absolutely she is, putting in a great effort.
Repke's in that 5th spot, but she's going to have to gain some ground if she wants to join the rest of the pack.
Staying with the top 4 as they pass. You see there, Kenna Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer is done. There's the signal for another elimination. So Sierra Golden isn't even going to make the lap. Golden dropping by the wayside. Repke now slowly pushing her way back in.
Godin needs to make a pass here. She better close that gap.
Godin as well. There's only 6 left, so Godin on the hot seat. After such a great start to the race, we're under 10 laps to go. That final elimination is coming soon. Jalen Godin now getting back in. Foster back there in 5th. That's not the place to be with Jalen Godin behind you, an elimination at stake. Michaela Rinnick, Kelsey Hellman, Andy Wincoop.
We've got our 5.
So Godin is done, and this is the 5.
Repke's falling out of it.
Repke.
Rennick in control. Let's see if Hellman tries to make a move here soon.
So we expect mini moves here in the final 5 laps. Michaela Rennick has made the 2 biggest moves. They've been covered each time by Hellman and Wincoop. Foster now actually looking like she is in some distress.
A little tired.
Running fourth, Jazzy Foster. Not looking strong. There's Hellman, and right with her, Andy Wincoop, and there's Wincoop. Andy Wincoop with 3 laps to go.
Wincoop wants to race.
Andy Wincoop is here to compete, Team USA or not, and there comes Foster. Now it is Hellman, Foster, Wincoop, Rennick. 2 laps to go.
Let's see if Jazzy can make a move.
Repke not a factor. Michaela Rennick falling down. Kelsey Hellman to the bell, chased by Jazzy Foster. Andy Wincoop gonna pick up a bronze medal as Kelsey Hellman, as we've seen so many times, biding her time and taking care of business when it matters. Jazzy Foster, she looked a little winded, but I think she was just faking us out up here.
This place is on fire right now.
As our top 2 finishers from last year also finish 1 and 2 here in the 5,000 meter elimination. We take a look at those final times. So that's 5,000 meters of skating, and they did it in less than 10 minutes. Kelsey Hellman in at 9:22.6. Foster 3/4 of a second behind roughly per second. And how about Andy Wincoop?
She made a push. And Rennick too. Rennick, she was passing multiple people at the same time, and she was able to lead the race for about 10 laps as well. A lot can happen in 50 laps, Chris. I just it's sinking in now that there were so many different moving parts to that race. And of course you have Hellman and Foster, cool, calm, collected, know what they had to do, made pushes at the right time. They've raced against each other so many times.
The fast forward teammates definitely familiar with one another, and you mentioned it there, so many moving parts. You like me, you're a sports fan of all kinds. I mean, we've been to NBA games, college football national championship games. I've been to just about every sporting event you can think of, and I've never seen anything like it.
You know, it's always kind of cool in a race like that where you have to watch the people that are in the back. You know, I like that. You know, there's always the focus on the people that are in the front, which is cool. I know that's part of the race, but the focus on the back of the pack is something that, there's referees got to pay attention to every little thing that's going on, and there's just 50 laps. I think it's a really cool race. I enjoy watching it.
And lucky for us, we get to do it all over again here. Another 5,000 meter elimination contest coming at us. It's going to be the men's side this time. Aiden Saylor, Colton Miller, Team USA member Zach Stoppelmore, another Team USA member Jonathan Blair, Aaron Geddes, young Michael Ruiz, another youngster David Meyer, Skylar Alton, he's impressed in the early going, Sonny Wright, Mason Liebhaber, Trey Tinsley, Eddie Wilcox, Trey Jones, Big Nick Hoffman, and of course Justin Stelly.
Who do you got?
You know, in this one, I've really been impressed. I feel like Stoppelmore is just racing better and better as the meet continues throughout the week. The first qualifying heats in the age group, Stoppelmore, you know, he didn't jump off the track at me, but here tonight and in our earlier qualifying heats, he really impressed me. 50 laps. I think it's something that he can sneak up on some people in. What about you?
I'm going to throw out Colton Miller.
You want odds?
I see his 10-second splits. This is going to be interesting. You know, and Stelly's still frustrated from that disqualification. He could be in one of those mindsets where he might just try to blow this thing away right away.
That is certainly a strategy we have seen in a couple of the individual age group races where the leader knew that they were faster than the vast majority of the pack, and they just went out there and eliminated those slow skaters at the back of the field in the first 5-10 laps and got down to business with the main contenders.
Why not? Because this is 50 laps. You obviously have the top 5. There's the guys that are going to fall in the middle, and then there's some of these guys who are not distance specialty, so I feel like we're going to have quicker eliminations, and we're going to get to that top 5 a lot quicker than the girls did.
And you see there is Justin Stelly, certainly a favorite on paper there with the Bont sponsorship skin suit. Looks like he's about ready to wrap up his warm-up laps. As you see some conversation there between officials, you got some teammates there. You know, my heart is really with David Meyer out there, but this hasn't proven to be his specialty up to this point, and I think 50 laps against the veterans is going to be just a bit much for such a young competitor, but that's a name we're going to have to talk about next year at the 2020 American Roller Speed Skating Championships for sure.
I'm not going to sleep on Aiden Saylor either. He always finds himself up there in the front. He's like the sneaky guy.
He is someone that rides the middle of the pack and then bursts forward at the last moment.
And he's just always there.
As you see the check-in and ordering starting to happen. You see there they literally drew popsicle sticks for placement in the rolling start, as you saw Liebhaber turn his in there.
That's one way to do it.
The rest of them, so, you know, it's a random draw. It didn't, you know, in 50 laps it doesn't really matter.
No.
You're already rolling, and once the ref ducks out of the way, it is game on.
I feel like one of the vets is going to want to control the pace of this race. They're not going to want a kid pushing the pace right away. I don't think they're going to be in the mood for that, especially in this Colorado air. So I see a Stelly or a Saylor jumping out and leading this thing to start it out, and then we'll see where Colton Miller and Stoppelmore, you know, if one of those guys gets out, I feel like Colton Miller, if that kid gets to the lead, he's going to push.
Someone like a Sonny Wright or an Eddie Wilcox, also one of those veterans that might get out there and slow things down a little bit. As you see there in the foreground is Sonny Wright just skating out of the frame as our contestants continue to just mill around, keeping the bearings loose, keeping the knees loose, waiting to get this thing underway.
It's amazing that these skaters can make 50 laps look so easy. And they pick up the pace as the race gets deeper and deeper. Ooh, they gave your boy David Meyer a front row seat. The placement's very interesting for this one. Stelly looking like 3 deep. Getty's looking 3 deep.
Saylor with a bad draw, nearly 2/3 of the way back into the pack as well.
Colton Miller looking 4 deep. Lieberhauer, middle of the pack. Trey Tinsley might be a decent distance guy. Always seems to find himself up in the front. Skylar Alton, another one to keep your eye on. 5 deep, Team Illini. Little words of encouragement to Mason Liebhauer, the youngster.
Yeah, Liebhauer staying loose back there with Skylar Alton. Some final directions there from our official.
Hoffman got a tough draw. Distance is not his specialty, and he's in the back of the pack.
And you see there it is, 50 laps. That's a long way to skate.
That's 50 aggressive left-hand turns.
I think you might want to check that math again, Josh.
That's
It's
just 100.
And we are underway, and out in front, the youngster David Meyer.
Here comes Colton Miller. Colton Miller wants to
Miller.
lead.
He wants to get out and push the pace, like you said. Eddie Wilcox right up there, so the veteran. Eddie Wilcox, and up comes Blair as well. And you mentioned Liebhaber and Hoffman, and there they are
in the back
of the pack. So one of them likely to be the first eliminated skater, and the next elimination would probably get the other one, whoever does end up hanging on. It looks now like Liebhaber has accelerated a little bit, trying to make contact with the back of the main field once again, but up front it continues to be David Meyer and Colton Miller as Miller scoots inside. Looked like he and Meyer had a bit of a conversation about it, so they seem to have a plan. Eddie Wilcox and Jonathan Blair right there as well. Behind Blair, it is Stoppelmore in 5th and Stelly running 6th. So a lot of danger there in the 5th and 6th as you check in with Nick Hoffman. As he's looking over his shoulder. And Hoffman gonna go quietly into that good night here in the 50 elimination race. So Nick Hoffman is finished. Miller, though. Miller still leading, and there next on the hot seat, Mason Liebhaber. Tremendous experience for Mason Liebhaber getting to race in this race of champions, but you had the feeling he, a young skater, just wasn't quite where he needed to be to compete in this one tonight.
He's got a bright future ahead of him. That kid can skate, and this is great experience. Miller and Meyer.
Yes, indeed. The Team Illini M&Ms out in front as Jonathan Blair and Eddie Wilcox right behind him. You start to get the feeling that Blair and Stoppelmore and Stelly are just kind of conserving energy here in the early going. As you check again in with Liebhaber, they're in no danger of being eliminated. Just letting those young kids out front do the hard work of setting the pace.
I'm surprised to see where Stoppelmore, Stelly, and Saylor are at, right in the middle of the pack. The youngsters.
As we take a quick look at the timing board, and you see there all the laps, best times coming in just over 10 seconds. So very fast splits here as we are 20 laps into this 50-lap race. And it is still the youngsters out in front. David Meyer, such a big kid, breaking trail for Colton Miller, as there is the bell, and you see on the back there, Liebhaber has decided he's not done yet. Liebhaber getting out in front. Trey Jones stretching toward the line. We'll see who they get, and it is Liebhaber. So Liebhaber made a move, decided to go out swinging.
That's the right idea.
And an absolutely honorable performance for the young man from Wisconsin. As back to the front we go now, you can see the whole pack. And Trey Jones putting on that burst to stave off elimination.
Costs a lot of energy.
Could have been the end for him, as he is now all alone back there, way off the pace. And that is going to do it for him. And here's the bell for another elimination. This time it's going to be battled out between Michael Ruiz and Trey Tinsley. So the Texas Speed boys in jeopardy now. One of them's going to go, and it will be Tinsley this time. Though Ruiz needing to get around Geddes in order to stay in it. He does as we check back in, and now things starting to shake up here at the front. There's Stelly into second, and Blair now running fourth. Miller starting to pick up the pace himself, though, as Miller brings them around on Geddes. So Geddes' night is done. Ruiz not far behind, as the top 8 have pulled away. So that's going to do it for Ruiz. Michael Ruiz is done.
Sonny Wright's in the danger zone.
Sonny Wright is very, very much in danger as the bell for a next elimination sounds. He's half a lap back, so Sonny Wright will be done. No drama in that one, as we see
Stelly
Sonny
got the
Wright
lead.
finishing up his final few meters of racing. As we see that main field now, and there's the whistle as the main field. Stelly now with Blair behind him. Miller still holding on to the podium position in third. Stoppelmore there as well, and Miller is third to first there for Miller. So there are 8 men left on the track. Only 5 will finish, as Aiden Saylor, the first time we've called his name, moving into fourth.
Told you he's sneaky like that. He just is always around.
Saylor doing exactly what you said he would, Josh. Stoppelmore up front as well. Miller still holding on to that podium spot for dear life as Stoppelmore forces Miller outside the main line. That's trouble for Miller. Miller trapped on the outside, has to go all the way around, and he slides out.
Is that Miller?
Colton Miller goes down trying to make the big move. He is still down off the track by the boards. Miller, now he's going to be lapped, so Colton Miller, disappointing end for him, running so well the whole way, trapped outside the main line, had to make a desperate move late, and it cost him, as Skylar Alton now way back. No need to worry about him. He will be eliminated next. So Skylar Alton leaving the field, and now running 1, 2, 3, the Team USA skaters. Stelly, Blair, and Stoppelmore. Aiden Saylor right in there with them. Now he moves into third in front of Stoppelmore. David Meyer still in it as well as Eddie Wilcox. Wilcox in the last position as the bell rings, so it's going to be between Wilcox and Meyer. Who's going to finish the race? There's Wilcox with the big move, and
Meyer looks tired.
Wilcox, I think, is going to eliminate Meyer as the top racers are off. The race is on now. Stelly and Blair, Stoppelmore and Saylor. Stelly and Blair getting handsy once again. Stoppelmore taking advantage. And there goes Stelly. Big step inside. Saylor jostled to the back. 4 laps to go. The race is here. Team USA plus Saylor. Stoppelmore now pulling free.
Oh, wow.
Zach Stoppelmore emerging from the scrum in first. Blair in second. Stelly running third. Saylor now falling off the back. 3 racers from Team USA leading the way to the bell.
This is wild.
Goes Stoppelmore. Blair and Stelly trying to catch him up. Stoppelmore looks behind him. There's Blair with some time in the race. Oh my goodness! Stoppelmore for the win. Second and third, I have absolutely no idea. I didn't know the human body could move that way.
These guys are such impressive athletes. It is unbelievable.
Oh my goodness, the undisputed winner right there, Zach Stoppelmore. fantastic job.
Jonathan Blair second,
As we
Justin
take a
Stelly
look
third.
at that scoreboard, and it is Blair and Stelly separated by 2/100ths of a second, just 2/10ths of a second back behind Stoppelmoor. That's the kind of finish you expect from
this
our
place
race of
was
champions.
going bananas the last 4 laps of that race. Everybody on their feet, banging on the glass, cheering these racers on. What great energy in this place right now. That was awesome.
So we need a moment to recover here at the Xfinity Roller Sports Arena. I suspect you might need a moment at home as well. We'll step aside the finals of the 300 and the 1,000 meter races when we return. once again the skate dancing stylings of Devin Simus for your entertainment. And before we head back out to break, after a great performance by Devin Simus, let's take a look at another great performance. One more look at that crazy finish to the men's 5,000 meter elimination race. Here you go, the second half of the final lap. Stoppelmore has it in the bag, and look at the splits. Oh my goodness, maybe a wheel, if that, for Jonathan Blair. So I think that bears one more look, Josh.
We got to check that out one more time. It looks like Stelly got a little grab in there towards the end, too.
And we'll take a look at that here on this playthrough. Stoppelmore, the quick look over the shoulder. Jonathan Blair. And there is
little grabby.
Stelly grabbing the hip there as they come sliding across, and turns out Stelly did get a warning for unnecessary roughness after that race. So I think the official saw what you saw, Josh. So a tremendous finish in that one. 4 more races with tremendous finishes coming up, and we will bring them all to you in just a moment.
a fast count.
And we have had just a moment here to catch our breath inside the Xfinity Roller Sports Arena after that epic finale of the 50,000, 50 lap, 5,000 meter men's elimination race. And we're ready for more excitement as it is the finals of the 300 meter ladies sprint. Kelsey Hellman and Jasmine Foster and Kaylee Repke, the three qualifying heat winners. Joining them in here, Jalen Godin, Gabriela Cardona Castro, and Sierra Golden. This one for the points and the medals. Josh, what do you expect to see?
Oh, it's going to be a goodie. I'd like to see Foster steal one here. Hellman's won them all so far. I'd like to see Foster snag this. This three-lapper might be right up her alley, and this could be some good points to get her in that on the first place podium as opposed to second.
This is another one where an explosive, feisty skater like Jalen Godin could do some damage as well.
Agreed.
So Hellman with the inside starting position, Foster just inside of her, Repke in the middle, then Godin, then Cardona Castro, and Sierra Golden out there on the board. So three fast forward skaters, one Allegro Speed, one Infinity Racing, and one Team Illini representative here in this one. Boy, that fast forward program out in the Chesapeake Bay area, they've really got it going on.
They must breed speed skaters out there. You know, it must be one of those places that just has had a long standing program forever. It's never faltered. They just produce top talent across the country.
And a clean start here in the 300 meter final, and Foster and Hellman jostling out front, and Foster pushed outside Hellman, getting the better of that one, and there is Jalen Godin. Cardona Castro right in there as well. Cardona Castro in front of Foster. Foster now wrong-footed back in fourth at the bell lap. Trouble for Jazzy Foster. Kelsey Hellman in front, Jalen Godin right there, and Gabriela Cardona Castro making some noise. And to the line they go, and that's going to be Jalen Godin! Jalen Godin with the upset! My goodness!
What? That was awesome. It looked like Hellman
Godin
almost lost her balance a little bit. Godin saw an opportunity, seized it, and when those foot start sticking out, wow.
Let's take another look at it. Here, the final lap. Hellman and Godin around.
See, there's
the
where
corner,
Hellman
and there
loses
she
it a little
did.
bit.
She stumbled, and that is Jalen Godin by about a wheel and a half. And the crowd here stunned, and that young lady putting in a performance of a lifetime as well. Gabriela Cardona Castro grabbing a bronze medal. Let's take a look at the board and see what those final times were and how close. And there it is. Woo! My goodness, 14 1/1000ths of a second between Godin and Hellman. Hellman has never lost in this building until right now. And Gabriela Cardona Castro, Jasmine Foster, shocked. As we'll take another look at that in a moment, as it looks like our men are coming up to the line and getting ready to go. So we don't want to miss the start of their race, but we will definitely be revisiting that incredible finish in a minute. In fact, now it looks like we have some time, so we will go take a third look at that finish. Here it comes. And there you see the stumble by Kelsey Hellman and Jalen Godin seizing the moment.
Oh yeah, she won that thing.
You can hear we got some fans looking over our shoulder, and you can see clearly Jalen Godin getting it done.
Now that is racing. That's good stuff. The competition level is high in this building right now. Fans are into it. It's got a great vibe. And people coming out of the woodwork. Godin, what a superstar.
And a clean start here for the men. Colton Miller, Zach Stoppelmore, Aiden Saylor, Aaron Geddes, Jonathan Blair, Michael Ruiz in the field. Oh, big contact there. Colton Miller
sneaks
just
through.
putting Stoppelmore outside of the main line, and Colton Miller trailed by Saylor. It's Miller, then Saylor, then Blair. Miller and Saylor, the upsets coming fast and furious here in the race of champions. Miller and Saylor, Saylor inside, gonna try to make, Saylor gets the win. Miller hard out into the boards, contact there at the end. My goodness. There's a chance we're definitely gonna have some rulings coming out of that. There's a lot of contact all throughout, and Hayden Saylor in direct contact with Colton Miller around that final turn as Miller lost control and lost his balance and flew out into the boards. We'll take another look at the finish there and see exactly how that all shook out. They were flying indeed. Saylor trying to get inside, Miller trying to hold him off. And in fact,
I didn't see a whole lot of contact.
Saylor not as involved in that upon a second look as maybe I thought. And there is Colton Miller.
Colton Miller's a tough kid. That's the second fall in a row that he's had where he's had a chance to win the whole thing.
Hopping to his feet, and you see Saylor there showing concern for Colton Miller. We've mentioned it before on the broadcast. As we take a look at the final times, and you see there Aiden Saylor with the win.
Studs.
Jonathan Blair coming in second, and Aaron Geddes hopping up and grabbing a bronze medal, getting some points. But the sportsmanship and camaraderie and community of this sport, it's something that really stands out.
It's awesome. High fives and hugs all the time, and these guys encourage each other, and it's just got a really good vibe to it. I love it.
So let's take a look at really that whole final sequence there, the fall, the finish, all of it. As you see, here we are, that final lap. Miller and Saylor skating flat out. Little bit of contact, not as much. Saylor looking like he got through that corner pretty clean upon review. Blair coming in, and Geddes sticking the toe out to get third.
Referees are having their little conference going on. I don't think Saylor should get in any kind of trouble for that fall.
I tend to agree. I mean, there was a lot of contact, but it was really before the fall. So I mean, there was definitely, it was a factor, but
I don't think he instigated that. He definitely.
Yeah, I think the contact was a factor. I don't feel like it was a cause.
I agree.
You know, so we'll see what the officials say as we take another look at it there, and roll it back for us back there in the truck. Oh, look at that. Jarrett McDonald doing some serious engineering down there in the truck. So you see the forearm to the side there, and the contact was short.
There is no more contact after that
There's
point.
no more contact through the apex of the turn as Miller goes into the wall there. So we'll have to see what the official ruling is. So the referees still looking, talking to each other, reviewing that one, conversing. So some more in-arena festivities here.
Oh, the napkin race.
The
Kleenex race.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, that young man in the middle.
So he went back to right-handed.
Now, yeah, he switched hands. The Bell's Speed Club skater seems to be doing good. And I wasn't so sure about his technique, but now he's looking like he's making some serious progress. And there it is, Bell's Speed Club.
For a t-shirt.
All right.
I think the loser should have to clean all those Kleenexes up.
Boy, I'm just glad it's not my job.
Me too.
So we're still waiting on a final ruling. We have received some mixed reports around the arena and waiting to get a more official word on the fate of Aiden Saylor. Again, up here in the booth, we don't think it was too egregious. But we're contact sport guys. I mean, we're football guys, basketball guys up here, so. And apparently there is some discussion about rerunning the race down there amongst the officials, so I don't know if I think that that's necessarily something that we need to do, but I tell you what, I'm not going to turn my nose away from some more free racing of that level.
Yes, I'll watch it all day.
And while this conversation continues among the officials, we are going to step aside for a brief moment. We'll be back with more racing action in the Comcast Race of Champions right after this.
It's over. You're too late.
Kelsey's going to be so pissed. She might lap the field in this 10,000, this 1,000.
Is this just it? This is the one lapper? 10. Oh, 10.
And welcome back in here to the Xfinity Roller Sports Arena. We're going to take one more look at that finish in our men's replay, and you can see Aiden Saylor very upset because he has been disqualified from the race. And for this right here, as you see it played back, the disqualification for unnecessary roughness, it's got to be right there. I guess the officials decided a little too much extension with the elbow there. We discussed it up here. Josh Ingram and myself didn't feel that way, but the officials know more about speed skating, what is appropriate and what isn't, as we take one final look at it. And Saylor eliminated for that push as we watch the end of the race play out now. So that is going to mean that
Jonathan Blair
gets the win, and oof, what a finish there between Geddes and Stoppelmoor. So Geddes now in silver medal, possession of that silver medal rather, and Zach Stoppelmoor getting some more points and a bronze medal. So Stoppelmoor in prime position to win the whole thing here. He's got a first and a third as we head towards our final event of the evening, the 1,000 meter middle distance race. So a dramatic Saturday night here in Colorado Springs.
It's wild. It's been a wild one.
Just what you expect from a race of champions. Looking for a nice payday. So chippers running high, skaters with a lot of adrenaline.
Some of them need that money. There's a little bit of desperation out there.
It certainly is, as we now take a look at our women's 1,000 meter field. You see the officials still huddled together there. Our women's 1,000 meter field has now begun to warm up. So we'll bring you a look at that here in a moment. You see there is Kelsey Hellman. She's lacing those skates up tight. I think she's going to come out with a chip on her shoulder after losing her first race ever here at the American Championships.
That is the truth. That's the first race she's lost either this year or last year. She's never lost in this building.
Yeah, so Jalen Godin knocking off Hellman, just sneaking past her at the end there. And Jalen Godin there in the purple, number 70 on her shoulder, helmet rather, as we return to our officials. And there again, Kelsey Hellman working on the equipment in preparation of this 10-lap 1,000 meter contest. Jasmine Foster and Hellman, your two heat winners, so they got automatic bids to the final. Jalen Godin, the next qualifier, on time. Then Kaylee Repke, Andy Wincoop, Gabriela Cardona Castro, Sierra Golden, and Michaela Rinnick. Sierra Golden skating this one under warning. So I expect nothing less than the fantastic finishes we've seen all night to continue here. Foster and Hellman, your heat winners. Godin out there, and she's got to be feeling confident after that sprint win.
That was a great win for her. Got a good amount of points there. If she can sneak out another win here, she could be at the top of the podium. Nobody didn't even see that coming.
That would be quite an upset in everyone's mind, probably except for Jalen Godin's. She's clearly skating like she belongs here and expects to be right there at the front for the finish. And Wincoop and Cardona Castro in this as well. They've medaled in two of our previous finals as well, each of them getting one. So don't sleep on them either. If there's anything we've learned here tonight, it's that all of these skaters deserve to be here.
It's an unbelievable talent field. These speed skating athletes are so competitive, but at the same time, Their athleticism and the way they can skate is just so impressive to watch, and they have everybody here at the Xfinity Roller Sports Arena on their heels the entire time.
So last check there between our officials and our official timer, Jason Goss, making sure those little microchips on the skates work properly all week. That's a big job.
It is a big job.
Almost 300 skaters participating here this week.
He's got to load every single race into a computer every time.
Oh boy, Hellman is locked in. She almost missed on her DAP there from the race official. Jasmine Foster had to let her know, hey, come on now.
Yeah.
So I expect quite a race and a fast opening pace out of Kelsey Hellman. And we are off 10 laps.
Jazzy's going to lead.
Foster is out in front. Hellman right there, as is, you guessed it, Jalen Godin and Andy Wincoop and Gabriela Cardona Castro. A lot of contact there. Castro almost kind of trapped in there between Wincoop and Godin there for a minute. Now Castro moving up. Oh boy, contact there. Castro aggressive to the inside, pushing Godin out, and Foster and Hellman running 1-2 out in front of all that traffic, right where they want to be. And to the halfway point we go. Foster, Hellman, Godin, and there is Repke now running fourth. Castro back to fifth. Behind her, Wincoop. And then Golden.
Here comes Hellman.
Rinnick, and there is the move. Kelsey Hellman moving out front. Foster matching the move. And there's Jasmine Foster. 3 laps to go. Foster and Hellman. Hellman now back in front. Foster right there, step for step.
This is going to be a
2 laps to go. Godin lurking in third position as well. And Repke right there looking for some points. There's the bell. Foster, Hellman, Godin, contact. Godin, Foster pushed outside, still managing to hold on to second. Here's the sprint to the finish, and Foster gets the win. Kelsey Hellman, another silver medal. And Jalen Godin, as you see the 2 fast forward teammates congratulating each other. So Foster getting the better of Hellman in that one. And we will take a look at those final times. Oh, Jasmine Foster, 1:45.6. Hellman in at 1:45.8. So 2/10 between them, and just a 1/10 of a second back is Godin as she podiums yet again. So Jalen Godin, we'll wait for the official point totals, but I'm pretty sure Jalen Godin's leaving here with a check. And we will take a look at that last lap one more time while the men's field warms up. So here we go, the final lap. You see there's the contact with Godin and Hellman. Hellman ends up way outside of the line she hoped to be on, and that really opened the door for Foster. And you see Hellman conceding a bit, but the real action in there for third between Godin and Repke. So Kaylee Repke making her presence felt in all 3 races here tonight as well. So man, the young talent that is starting to emerge here in the Race of Champions is something else, Josh.
It really is, and I was surprised to see Repke. She was up there making a push towards the end of that race as well. came down to the wire. All of these finals race, the finishes have been so close. Thank goodness for all those chip readers.
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine trying to do that with a stopwatch and the naked eye?
The naked eye?
Impossible. So another conference taking place with competition this tight, this big prize on the line. Coaches, athletes, they're going to be more ready than usual to file a protest. Certainly going to want to make sure things are discussed whenever there's controversy in a race, and that contact between Godin and Hellman undoubtedly under discussion.
I agree. I think that, that they're going to call that. Some of the other things that they've been calling throughout these finals, because it's so close and it's so competitive, anytime that there's a full extension on the arm, I think they're calling it tight. The referees are making sure that they're keeping everything under control.
So we will await an official word from our officiating crew, and we will bring you any news as well as the final race of the night in just a moment. And we are back. A couple of warnings to update you on. No disqualifications, but warnings given to both Jalen Godin and Gabriela Cardona Castro. Warnings for roughness there in that 1,000 meter final as we get set to give you a quick look at the men's field. Who do you see out there, Josh?
I see Colton Miller's back out there again after another fall that he had. He's fallen 2 races in a row now. I would really like to see that kid sneak one in, stop him more, putting up points, and then you can never sleep on Justin Staley. Ten hot laps. Aiden Saylor seems to be still pretty upset about his disqualification in the previous race as well.
That's definitely something we'll need to keep an eye on. How does Saylor respond, having the first place medal and points taken away from him there in the sprint? 2 ways you can respond to something like that here in the next race. You can either let it get to you and kind of check out, or you can let it fuel you and provide motivation to put out a blistering pace.
He seems like a competitive guy. I think he's gonna let it fuel him a little bit.
I certainly haven't seen any of these competitors pout or whine or just let something get to them all week long. No reason to think it would start now. And Saylor, a lot of trouble there at the start. Saylor and Stoppelmore both stumbling, and guess who out in front? Colton Miller coming back with a vengeance from the fall in the sprint. Behind him, it is Stelly. So Miller, then Stelly, then Blair. Aaron Getty's in there in fourth. Stoppelmore fifth, Saylor sixth.
This is a fast pace, Chris. These guys are flying.
Oh, wow.
Stelly's got the lead. He might start pulling away
Fast
here.
laps are under 9 seconds as Justin Stelly now distancing himself from the pack. Justin Stelly not interested in any contact in this one. He's just going to run away with it.
Yep.
And you
So
see
smooth.
Stelly and then everyone else. Stoppelmore and Saylor running 2 and 3 as it is Stelly. 4 laps to go. And Justin Stelly
He's putting on a performance here, Chris.
absolutely just grabbing this race by the throat in lap 8 and not letting go, as there he is. To the bell goes Stelly. One more lap than the bell, but Stelly checking behind him, nothing to worry about there. We will, however, check in with that race for second as Justin Stelly is wide open. There goes Jonathan Blair. Jonathan Blair to second. Stoppelmore right there with him. Stoppelmore and Blair for silver, and it's Blair.
Did Blair pull that second place out?
It
I think
sure
he did.
looks like he did. Jonathan Blair, then Stoppelmore. So Team USA, 1, 2, 3 behind that man right there, Justin Stelly. So to the scoreboard we go to check out those lightning fast times. Look at that, an 8:86 lap time for Justin Stelly. 10 laps in 1:35. Blair and Stoppelmore separated by just 2/10 there at the end. And obviously something happening to Colton Miller there off the back as he does not finish. So a tough night for young Colton Miller, but it is Stelly, Blair, and Stoppelmore as we take one more look at that very close race for silver. So you see Stelly out there, he's coasting home, no worries for him, but in here, ooh, Blair kind of running out in front, blocking Stoppelmore there at the end. I wonder if that's what is under discussion here. Boy, these officials are they're working hard tonight.
I know it.
And we'll take one more look and see if Blair changes that line to cut off Stoppelmore. Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm kind of inclined to think he did. You can see the contact.
I'm amazed Stoppelmore was able to stay on his feet. It looked like Blair's back foot caught the wheel, Stoppelmore's front wheel on his left leg, almost tripped him up. I don't know if that's an actual infraction.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rule is in speed skating about incidental contact like that.
That was certainly contact. Whether or not it is incidental or not is up to these ladies and gentlemen down here in the blue and the red. So an official ruling forthcoming as we take one more look there at those very fast laps. Even down towards the bottom of the field, Wilcox running a 9-1.
Fast.
Sub 10 seconds is really moving. And we are going to keep it right here while these officials come to a decision, and then I believe we're going to have the awards presentation right out there in the infield. Looking to bring it all to you live at usrollerspeedskating.com. Anywhere in the world, from the East Coast to the West Coast, from Johannesburg, South Africa, to the mountains of Nepal. If you've got an internet connection, you can watch some fantastic racing here from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and we hope you enjoyed it all. Josh, what's your takeaway? You've seen it now. This is our second year covering this event. Last year was impressive. I think this year is orders of magnitude better. The competition higher, fiercer, faster.
It is, and it seems like these speed skaters are taking this to the point where it is such a credible event. I'm blown away every single time. This is the second year in a row where I've been so impressed by the sport of speed skating that it has such a bright future. It just needs more participation because this is such a cool sport. This is such a cool thing that it needs more. It needs to be publicized more.
And if you have developed an interest in joining a team or starting a team in your local area, you can find out how at usrollerspeedskating.com. So once you're done watching our show here tonight, click on some of those other links, get some more information, and maybe we'll see you here next year. So the officials meeting has broken up, and we have not received word of any sort of a change in the standings. As you take a look, everyone's still in their seats here, no one leaving just because the racing is done. These folks are in it for the long haul, ready to see these awards handed out. So Josh, you mentioned sort of the big picture, speed skating, the growth potential it has here. What would you say is your takeaway from the race here tonight? What did you like most? Who impressed you? Who was disappointing?
You know, I'm impressed by pretty much everybody that Justin Stelly, awesome. And you look at a kid like, you know, Aiden Saylor came up with a win, doing a great job out there, and then he got it stolen from him, stayed mentally tough, competed the entire time. I feel bad for a guy like Colton Miller. That kid was such a stud, and he just had some bad breaks not go hit. You know, a couple falls out there, and it looked like he didn't even finish that last race. I think he's hurting. You know, he slammed into the boards pretty hard, but that kid has a lot of potential.
Well, he does. Colton Miller standing out amongst the youngsters here tonight. Obviously, Aiden Saylor also racing well despite the unfortunate circumstances involved between those two young men.
And then you look at a kid like Zach Stoppelmore. I mean, utterly impressive. The kid knows how to skate. He knows how to compete. He did what he had to do to possibly put himself on the podium tonight. So you got some youngsters in there. We'll see how the points ended up playing out.
As you see there, some members of the board of directors of usrss and the RSA, as executive director Jim McMahon there with the microphone. He's gonna get things started with our awards ceremony. Right, looks like right now, well, that's quite a tie Mr. McMahon has on. American flag for the American Championships. I like that style, Josh.
Awesome
How about
guy.
you?
He's an awesome guy. They don't come much better than Jim McMahon. He does so much, not for just speed skating, but just for roller skating rinks across the country. He's the executive director, and he loves roller skating more than anybody I've ever met.
So we're going to go ahead and keep it right here in the building with you the rest of the way as everyone gets organized for the awards presentation.
Well, it looks like they figured out who got what because Cindy Bishop's over there filling out those big checks. So once again, the way it works is first place for men and women, $2,500. That is tax-free. $1,500 for second place, that's men and women. $1,000 for third place, men and women. So $10,000 total in cash prize money for these speed skaters. And that's really what a lot of them are out here competing for is gold medals, but a lot of them need funding to go to some of the international speed meets. And what better way to make a couple extra bucks than to do what you're one of the best at.
Indeed, and the final results are in, certainly for the ladies division. And we're waiting still for the final tally for the men's, but you can see everyone down there milling about. The awards are imminent. A lot of calculating and preparation needing to be done down there. So, as you take a look, and there are the big checks. Well, look at those checks, Josh. Boy, those are big checks.
Those are big checks.
I've never had a check that big.
I haven't either. Remember that show Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell?
And I think we are ready to go. Certainly hope to be, as take another look at some of our very important officials in the sport of inline and roller speed skating, as well as roller skating in general here in America. Lisa Dunham, our championship director. Jim McMahon giving the thumbs up, and Jeff Cooey there, the president of the RSA. Looks like he's going to do the honors.
That's Patty Leisure, Coach of the Year.
Actually, Patty was the coach last year. We're just receiving word. Lisa Dunham wearing many hats in the sport. So she's our meet director and apparently now also Coach of the Year. So that's a busy woman.
She's busy. What a rock star. Coach of the Year, Patty Leisure.
coming to collect the team award in the Rookie Showdown. So her fast forward team out of Hagerstown, Maryland, accumulating all the points in that rookie challenge. So wise words from Patty Leisure. We could hear him in the arena. Not sure how well you were able to hear them back at home. I'll try to do them justice. Essentially, she said, don't forget about the rookies. The sport's not all about the stars. You got to build a pipeline, and that's what she strives to do with her rookie team.
And that's the truth, you know, and that's any sport. The grassroots is where it's at.
And here we are taking a moment to honor our Team USA World Team members. Going left to right across your screen, Zach Stoppelmore, Justin Stelly, Kayla Duke, Kelsey Hellman, Jasmine Foster, and Michaela Rennick.
It's just a nice little donation. Kick them in a couple extra bucks, even if they don't make the podium. Help, you know, take care of some little travel expenses and things like that. So that's a nice donation from the.
Absolutely, it takes money to fund a winning career in sports. Roller speed skating, no different.
And you know, some of these athletes are the best at what they do in the entire world, and yet they're still in a situation where if they got to go to the World Championships, they qualify, they make the team. They're still responsible for coming up with their own funding. They have to pay their own way to get over there. So this is a good way to raise funding for that kind of stuff.
Typically, as you would imagine, the world team traveling across continents meets in exotic locales like Spain.
Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona on my bucket list of cities to check out, so probably not going to qualify for the world team. Not if I have to compete with the likes of them.
No, I would be so down to go watch though.
And there are world team members heading back off the floor. We're going to see most of them back out here directly, as we are now, I believe, ready to award our Race of Champions podium. There we see third place race of champion finisher Jalen Godin, of course, picking up the 34 points for that upset win in the sprint race, and then scoring points in the other 2 races as well. She takes third. Jasmine Foster with the middle distance win, pushing her towards 63 points for second. And despite a performance that Kelsey Hellman herself would probably describe as disappointing, although nobody else would, 2 seconds and a first, Kelsey Hellman brings in the big check. 76 total points for Kelsey Hellman, 63 points for Foster, 50 for Godin. Other point scorers, 4th place, a tie between Kaylee Repke and Gabriela Cardona Castro with 18 apiece. Andy Wincoop with 16, Michaela Rinnick with 8, and Sierra Golden rounding out our contestants, getting on the scoreboard as she scored 3 points with her finish in the short race. Says, yeah, raise those checks up high, ladies. Congratulations.
Young ladies that have a bright future. That's awesome stuff.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, let's make applause for our ladies
And there's Lisa Dunham handing them their real check.
You mean you can't take those big ones to the bank?
I don't know. I guess you could try.
Man, you're just ruining this for me, man. So one more piece of business here at the American Championships on a Saturday night. We just have to award the podium in our men's race of champions.
All right, it's time for the gentlemen. Buckle down, get ready. Coming in third for the Comcast Race of Champions men. In third place, I believe it's $1,000. Number 224 from Team Illini, Justin Stelly.
And there you see Justin Stelly.
Such a good dude, too.
He comes in third.
And I feel like he expected to win this thing.
You got to say, a world team captain recently, and he comes in here and only finishes third. This is an intense level of competition.
Number 2 from Fast Forward, number 124, Zach Stoppelmore.
And in second place overall, Zach Stoppelmore.
Your overall Comcast Race of Champion, wearing number 17, representing Pacific Racing, Jonathan Blair.
And that means your champion is Jonathan Blair. Jonathan Blair taking home the big money with the overall title in the race of champions.
You guys like that, and those sorts of races, I appreciate you doing it. Awesome racing. Well deserved.
And congratulations all around for the gentlemen. Josh, any final thoughts here as we wrap up a great day of racing?
I'm entertained. I'm impressed. It was a lot of fun. This building was electric for all of those final races. They were all so close and so competitive. And the money's nice. The medals are nice. But the bragging rights are always kind of nice, too, especially when you beat your buddies and you won a couple extra more bucks than they did. That's always got to feel great, too. I think those guys all put on a great show, raced hard, and they made some money doing what they're best at.
Indeed, they did. They put on quite the show for all of us here at the Xfinity Roller Sports Arena, and all of you watching at home on usrollerspeedskating.com. We are finished for the day, but the American Championships are not over. Tomorrow is Sunday. Sunday is quad day.
Quads, they love quads. Actually, I love skating on quads still.
Quad day tomorrow. It starts right here. usrollerspeedskating.com, 8 a.m. Mountain Time. We will begin coverage starting with individual heats, individual finals, and quad relays. It's going to be a long last day here at the American Championships. We're excited. We'll see you then. For Josh Ingram, Dennis Dolan, and Jarrett McDonald, I'm Chris Johnson. Good night from Colorado Springs.